Hey friends, thanks for joining me on this video. Today I want to show you about how to navigate your template in Cubase and Nuendo. It can be pretty frustrating if you have a really large template and you're trying to navigate, hundreds of tracks and trying to find where you're trying to go really quickly. Now, Cubase and Nuendo are basically the same, so if you use either one, this will work perfectly with both. All right. So I've been a film and TV composer almost for 30 years now. I started out doing the Power Rangers TV show in the 90s. My first computer was a Commodore 64. So we didn't even have audio on that computer. So we've come a long way since then. But you know what? There's still challenges with technology, isn't there? So if you're on a deadline, you're on a TV show and you get a show Sunday night, and you have to turn it in Thursday night or Friday for reviews, and you get a new show every week, you have to be able to move really quickly through your template, right? So I'm going to show you a few ways to move around, but then I'm going to show you a way that I use that I can, in one click, get to any instrument in the orchestra or any sound design thing that I want instantly. And it's the method I use, and I think it really helps me to move a lot quicker when I'm under a serious deadline. So not only I'm going to show you this, I'm going to give you this template for free. So hang on and smash that subscribe and that like button, and we'll get into it. Hey, before we get going, I just wanted to tell you that to use this process of this one-touch navigation, you will need Touch OSC. Do not get Touch OSC Mark 1. But Touch OSC, the newest version, you will need that, and you will need to download my template, which has the coding for this to work, all right? There's also going to be an instructional video on how you set it up, so don't worry, you will be able to do this. Also, for you that are composers, or you want to be a composer, or you want to do film and TV music, advertising music, sync music, music for music libraries, basically make money doing music for film and TV. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I am the director of Scorecraft Composer Academy. So if you go to scorecraftacademy.com, it will walk you through our whole program, which is a 5-month program working with me personally. I only take 20 composers a year, but a lot of my composers end up working. I'll just say that. So I would love to work with you personally if this is something you're serious about. And we have a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. 5 months rather than going to a 4-year university. This program is really made to move the ball down the field, and in 5 months get you ready composing wise and business wise for a career in film and TV music. All right, let's get back to this template video, and hopefully this is going to help you. All right, so let's just talk about the basics of setting up a good template, and then we'll talk about the basics of navigating Cubase and Nuendo and some of the built-in features that you can use. And then we'll move on to a more advanced system of finding exactly what you want to find. So first of all, let's just talk about when you have a large template. My largest template is upwards between 700 to 800 tracks, running Vienna Ensemble Pro on multiple machines. And it is ridiculous to keep track of. So you want to make sure, first of all, in your template that it is all organized in some sort of a hierarchical system. So if you look here, I can open up my template here, and I can see the whole template as I scroll down. And this is my smaller template. So this is a template that is only on one computer. I have a Mac Studio M1 Ultra with 128 gigs of RAM, and it can handle this template. This template's about 200 some odd tracks. which I find for 95% of what I'm doing is just fine. So, and it works great. But all of these can be closed down, and all of the sections are put in their own folders. So that's number one, make sure that your template, all the sections have different folders. For example, here's my ensemble patches, which within that folder, I have wind ensemble, string ensemble, and brass ensemble. So everything's organized. And then, of course, I have orchestral effects, like from Sonic Kinetic, runs, those sorts of things. Then, of course, the basic woodwinds, strings, brass, percussion folders. And then those are broken down as well. Piccolos, flutes, oboes, English horns, clarinets, and bassoons, and the subfamilies. And then strings, you see violin, viola, cello, basses. I use this Wallfish strings. I think they're really great. And I like to work with them together, so I have them in their own folder. And certain libraries, I like to do that where I'm working with that library because it matches well. The brass as well, the Aaron Venture brass, I like to work together with, which is a fantastic library and really has some amazing combinations. Also plays fast very well. You'll find that a lot of brass libraries just are horrible to play fast. All right, percussion, timpani, cymbals, pitched percussion also is separated out. Percussion ensemble effects, where they're spread across all the keys. And then epic percussion has its own folder. And then harp, choir, and pianos also have their own folder. And then all of these folders are going to go into groups so that these groups can be, in other words, they're all going to output to these groups. I use one contact instance, or whatever it's running, sign player, etc., per instrument in this upper part, and they all feed to the orchestra broken down into instruments. And it may be percussion, sound design, band instruments. This can change a little bit for each project. And then these allow you some kind of macro editing of your template, EQs and reverbs if you need that. And then they go into stems. And this is typically when you're sending a final mix, you're going to send them your stems, and you're going to ask for that, of course. So the stems, you've got woodwind, strings, brass, all the usual suspects. And this can also change depending on the project. And that's basically what you're going to send your client. And of course, then you'll have a master stereo out that could have some mastering elements to it. All right, so that's an overview of my template, but I can open and close it at will to manage where I want to go fairly quickly. Now over here we have this visibility tab, and this just allows you to scroll up and down. It shows your folders, what's in it. Okay, I want this. I scroll to my oboes, and I can get to it that way. The only thing about that is, frankly, it's the same to me as rolling up and down in this. You can close some of these folders as well, but I can also close my whole template and get to wherever I want as well. I also colorize all the sections, so I know that if I'm scrolling down to this light blue thing, as soon as I hit that color, my brain just goes, okay, that's my woodwinds, or the red is going to be strings, etc. Gold is brass. So colorizing really helps. So the next thing that you would want to use to find, I'm going to open my template again, find a track would be the track finder. So if you, for example, go up here above the track, if you can see my mouse, and click this finder, this opens up a tab that you can say, okay, I want to look at my violins, and then it will take you to those tracks, right? And so while this is interesting and you can select, the tracks you want to go to, this is a little faster to me and it looks a little more handy than this visibility tab. It is also kind of not perfect because I'm having to click on things and click again and click around to find what I'm looking for. So it can be useful if you know exactly what to type in here. There's also, I have a key command to open this, which is just the / will open that if I want to type something in. Let's say you were using a synthesizer and you wanted to get to Omnisphere really fast. You could just type in OM and it would pop up right there and you could click on it. Again, it's very useful. A really good feature that's in a lot of DAWs, but still is not the fastest way to maneuver through a large template. There's one other thing up here, these configurations. You can, if you select certain tracks in this configuration, you can choose to see only certain configurations. So for example, I could choose just my strings, highlight them and hit add configuration. And then this will allow you to set up a key command to go to just your strings. And you can add, I believe, 8 or 9 of these in Cubase and Nuendo. Now, I don't know why they put that limitation because there are way more configurations that we need. So it really does, again, you're having to click on this thing, go down, click on what you want, and then go back and find it. It slows you down. Let's move on now, finally, to what I think is a really amazing solution that really Cubase allows you to do, working with a software called Touch OSC. And it will allow me in one touch to go to anywhere on my template instantly. Let's get into that. All right, so let's take a look at how this works. Right above me here is my Touch OSC template, which is just on an iPad. See, I have an iPad here. I have a couple controllers. All of my articulation switching is done with a little M-Audio keyboard over here. And every note I know has the same articulation switching. But what's awesome about using Touch OSC and using these quick keys is that I'm able to, for example, I want a piccolo, there it goes. Went to my piccolo. If I want to hit my cellos, bam, I'm on my cellos. I want to hit my brass, and instantly I'm on my brass. And I even have certain features that I use all the time. For example, this is maybe a stack I use. And when I want to get rid of, instead of clicking everything off, I'm going to clear that record with one button. So Touch OSC is a super powerful tool by itself that allows you to do anything in your DAW that you could do by clicking around in your DAW. But this is so much better than going and hunting around or trying to use this visibility tab over here. Now, we talked about this finder up here, right? So we have this finder button that we can go wherever we want in our template. So what we've done is we've assigned what is over here in the project logical editor, a quick key code that will allow Touch OSC to send a MIDI message to Cubase or Nuendo that when I want to, for example, get my timpani, all I have to do is press it here. It sends a message back to Cubase, and I'm ready with my timpanis. All right. So the way we do that, of course, is with these abbreviations. So it has the code that says send out this MIDI information, but also go to the Finder and type in the Finder, for example, timpani is TIX, type in TIX and hit enter. It does all that with coding inside of Touch OSC. I'm going to give you that coding, so don't stress out about it. There's a lot of YouTube videos on how to do this sort of thing and set up Touch OSC. And if you want me to go through how to set up Touch OSC, I can do a video on that as well. But this is a really, to me, the fastest way to get around in your template, all right? And let's just talk about the way I have it set up. You can set this up any way you want, but basically it's quickly accessing anything in your Finder that has a certain alphabetical or numeric code to it, right? So for me, I have at the top up here, I have the woodwinds. If I just hit woodwinds, the top bar, it goes to all the woodwinds and it doesn't select anything. It just opens that folder, right? So if I was to close all of my folders and I just hit woodwinds, now I'm just looking at all these woodwinds and I can decide where I want to go from there. But most of the time, I'm not going to use that feature. I'm going to go, okay, I want my bassoons. I'm just going to click bassoon, and I am ready to play. It's just much faster for me. And I typically like to keep my template open. And if you see, I can open and close the whole template right here in Touch OSC. So it's easy to navigate, easy to kind of see where I want to go quickly. All right, and let's keep it open for now, and let's start up top with the woodwinds. It goes to the strings. It goes to the brass. I have certain libraries that, like Aaron Venture Brass, that I use together. Inside my percussion, for example, there's timpanis, cymbals, there's pitch percussion, percussion ensemble, and epic percussion. So it's kind of separated out. And then I have ensemble patches here that it will take me up to my ensemble patches, or if I want to, for example, work with Symphobia, since I use this quite a bit. I use this Symphobia quite a bit in scoring, because it saves me so much time, and I have a bunch of stacks set up that really that will allow me to move quickly and score parts more quickly. All right, and then we have harp, choir, and piano. So if I want my harp, it gets there. If I want a piano patch, across the top part of this template, I have pages that I can go through. So I have faders now. I have faders. Let's go back here. Let's go to my flute, and let's go to a fader. And now I can play the flute, but I can also control the volume and vibrato. Right? So really frequently use things, or having, like, for example, Spitfire vibrato is CC21. Certain libraries like Cinematic Studio Strings, I believe vibrato is CC2. So you can just have all these things set up so that you don't have to mess around and hunt and try and reassign faders and do all this stuff. It's a waste of time. Also, I have endless encoders up here for synthesizers, for panning, or anything else I want to do. I have an XY controller. So this, a lot of times when we're scoring, we might want to use multiple faders at the same time, controlling, modulation and vibrato and expression. You can control this right here to do all that by just touching the screen and controlling your MIDI faders multiple at a time with just touching the screen. And so that's really handy as well. And then I have a whole nother bank of MIDI CC faders ready to go. The other benefit of this is that I have really frequently used quick keys. I call them quick keys, but they're key commands in Nuendo. For example, if I wanted to have all my plugins close at one time, I'm going to put a plugin on a sound here, and I can instantly just close any plugin window that's open. That's ready to go. I want to have my video back and forth playing. Usually I have multiple monitors, so I'll have video on another screen, but if I want it to go away, it's there. Quantizing to frequent things like 16ths, 8ths, that's available as well. These can also be folders and open up other pages as well. Also, if I want to go in my MIDI editor and I want to, for example, let's just go to violins, for example, and we'll record a bunch of MIDI CC data here, and let's just record something. Now there's no key switching, and that sounds pretty terrible. But inside of Cubase, if I double click this and go to the MIDI editor, I have the ability to show all the CCs at one time. It was already showing them. But if you have a lot of CCs and you're going back and forth, this show CC feature down here, show and hide controller lanes, you might want to add this to your template. Just things you're going to do all the time. It's awesome to just have right in front of you on Touch OSC. If I'm combining, like let's say I'm doing a solo line and I'm combining violins and I want to also combine violas with it at the same time, and then I want to go on to something else, I have a clear record quick button to do that. I have a MIDI reset button. I also have an add instrument track button, something that I just do all the time. And then of course this open and close, this is really key also, because I sometimes it can just get overwhelming. And that open and close feature is I've set up in the Project Logical editor. So if I hit setup here and toggle folder open close, I can't remember if this was custom. If not, just copy this right off my screen. Let me move it over so you can see it. And this basically will allow you to toggle between opening and closing all your folders. And I don't have time to explain how all that works, but you can make this a quick key operation so that it will function like that. So as you can see, I mean, this is just such a much quicker way of getting around for me. All right, so this was a really high-level overview of how this works. Again, there's going to be a link to this, so you can actually just use this, download Touch OSC, which is really inexpensive. Put it on an iPad. You can also put it on your cell phone if you have an iPhone. I believe it also works with the Android phone. So you can do it even on your phone if you like. Also works great in live gigs as well. So if you want to go deeper with this, or if you're interested in jumping in and you really want to get into working in film and television music, I do run and direct Scorecraft Composer Academy, which is just at scorecraftacademy.com, where we start you from the ground up and we go really deep with all of this MIDI stuff, with mock-ups, with templates, and sample libraries and how to really make these things come to life, but also the harmony part, how we get outside of major and minor modes and score in shapes and colors and really kind of get to outside of what you maybe learned in college. It's a 5-month program, so it's really intensive. You work with me personally for 5 months, as well as other working composers that are going to teach you in the program. And at the end, we're really gearing you up to go out, show you the business stuff, and get out and work. So if that's interesting, go ahead, and the links are below to find out more about that. I would love to work with you, and we will see you on the next video. Again, hit that like button. It really helps us on the channel. Thanks a lot.